The betrayal of the young teacher. In a small, quiet village nestled between the hills and the river, there lived a young, charismatic teacher named Juma. He had just returned from the city after completing his education, eager to bring new knowledge and wisdom to his people. The villagers had high hopes for Juma, for he was intelligent, well-spoken, and full of ideas. He was assigned to teach the children of the village, especially the young girls, about adulthood, responsibility, and the values of their culture. Juma's lessons were always filled with energy. He would gather the children under the large baobab tree that stood at the heart of the village, and they would sit in a circle as he spoke of important matters: the meaning of adulthood, the dangers of premarital sex, and the importance of respect and purity. His words were always powerful, as if each sentence was crafted to shape the future of the village. One fateful morning, as the sun rose, Juma gathered the young girls of the village for an important lesson. The elders had asked him to speak about the transition from girlhood to womanhood and how to avoid the temptations of the world that could lead them astray. The girls, who ranged from ages 12 to 16, were excited but nervous, for this was a rite of passage. They had all heard the whispers of the dangers and promises that adulthood brought, and they trusted Juma to guide them. Juma smiled warmly as the girls sat before him, their eyes filled with anticipation. "Today," he began, his voice low and steady, "we will speak of the journey that each of you must take to protect your purity. You are the future of this village, and you must carry the wisdom of our ancestors in your hearts." The girls listened intently, hanging on to every word he said. Juma spoke about respect, dignity, and the importance of maintaining one's integrity. He emphasized that true adulthood came with responsibility, self-control, and the ability to resist temptation. But then, the conversation took a dark turn. Juma's voice dropped even lower, and his eyes gleamed with an intensity the girls had not seen before. "To fully understand the consequences of losing your purity," he said, "you must experience it. Only by feeling the weight of such decisions can you truly grasp the importance of what I teach." The girls exchanged nervous glances, not understanding what he meant. Juma's gaze lingered on them, his expression unreadable. He stood up and walked toward the nearest girl, a 14-year-old named Amina, and gently placed his hand on her shoulder. "Come with me," he whispered, "and I will show you." Amina froze. Something in his voice was not right. The other girls felt the same sense of unease. They were unsure whether to speak or to act, but fear held them in place. Juma motioned for them to follow him into the small hut that he had been using as a classroom. It was a secluded spot, away from the prying eyes of the village. The girls followed reluctantly, unsure of what to expect. Once inside the hut, Juma closed the door behind him. He turned to Amina, who stood frozen in the center of the room, her heart racing. The other girls, standing outside, could hear the muffled sounds of what was happening inside, but they did not dare to move or speak. In that moment, Juma's true nature was revealed. The man who had once appeared to be a beacon of wisdom was now the embodiment of deceit. He used his position of trust and authority to betray the very girls he was meant to protect. It was not until the sun began to set that the first girl, Amina, managed to escape the hut. Her heart was heavy, her mind clouded with confusion and shame. She ran to the village, screaming for help. The other girls followed her, each one of them silently carrying the pain of what had happened, though none of them spoke a word. The village erupted into chaos when the truth was revealed. The elders, the mothers, and the fathers gathered in front of Juma's hut, their faces a mixture of disbelief, anger, and sorrow. How could this young man, whom they had trusted, do such a thing? Juma tried to explain himself, but his words were empty and hollow. The villagers had seen the truth in the eyes of the girls, and they knew that no explanation could erase the damage he had caused. The elders decided to take swift action. They stripped Juma of his position and banished him from the village, forbidding him from ever returning. His betrayal had not only ruined the lives of the girls, but had also broken the trust that was the foundation of their community. In the days that followed, the village came together to heal. The elders gathered the girls and their families, offering support and comfort. They reminded the girls of their strength, their dignity, and the unbroken ties that bound them to their culture. They told the girls that though their bodies had been violated, their spirits remained pure, and their futures were still bright. Though the scars of what happened would never fully fade, the girls found strength in one another. They spoke of their pain openly, finding solace in their shared experiences. They vowed that the betrayal of one would never break the unity of their village. And so the village moved forward, with the memory of Juma's deception serving as a painful reminder that wisdom and authority must always be earned, never taken for granted. The young teacher, who had once seemed like a savior, was now a ghost of the past, his name spoken only in whispers and with disdain. The village, though scarred, emerged stronger, and the girls, now wiser, took their rightful place as the true guardians of the village's future.